Blitz is defined as a sudden, savage attack. It is indeed all this. The effect is sure. The premise is simple. It's a basic, primal confrontation, man to man. No excuses are offered, none accepted.
Welcome to the latest edition of Longhorn Blitz with horns247.com.
Looks like a radio station.
Now, here are your hosts, lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers,
Pure athlete, yeah.
I transcend race, hombre.
Matt Butler,
I don't talk, man. I back it up.
And we are chock full of that, man.
Damn right.
and Jeff Howe.
It's still real to me, damn it.
And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
If you're gonna blitz, come strong, or don't come at all.
Coming strong with another edition of Longhorn Blitz with Horns 24/7. I am Jeff Howe. Let me bring in the rest of the team for this week's episode, a bye-week episode of Longhorn Blitz with Texas coming off of a 36-30 win over Oklahoma State. We will break it all down. And, yes, we will get to the injury news the Longhorns are dealing with. Let me bring in the rest of the team, though. He is the master of the soundboard, the drop machine extraordinaire, Matt Butler. How was your weekend, sir?
Oh, pretty good. How about yourself?
Not too shabby.
You have a good birthday? Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Happy belated birthday.
It's one of those deals where, like, people are like, oh, you had to work on your birthday. It's like, yeah, I'm not, 19 anymore. My birthday's not that big a deal. There are worse ways to spend my birthday than going to cover a football game.
Also, you don't hate your job. Most people hate their job.
There you
so
go. That's
working on
the
your
difference.
birthday, yeah, that's the difference.
Because I bet back in the day, your birthday revolved around maybe a Cowboys game or a Longhorns game as a youngster growing up, probably every single time.
Yeah, that's why I guess that's just why my soul is the way it is. My birthday is like right when football season's getting good. So.
Yeah, you ain't Craig Way.
Yeah, because Craig's is the day before mine, 2 days before mine,
Somewhere around there.
something like that. Anyway, a man who he can talk birthdays and astrology and all kinds of stuff because he is a Renaissance man on the Austin Radio Network and on the Longhorn Blitz podcast. Lifetime Longhorn 2002 UT All-American 2002 semifinalist for the Jim Thorpe Award, 4th-round draft choice of the New York Giants in 2003. Spent his NFL career with the Giants, Lions, Bears, Bucks, Broncos, and a year with the Hamilton Tiger Cats in the CFL. When he was done with football, got himself back to Austin, Texas in the 40 acres where he earned his degree. Whenever that T-ring comes in, I promise I will assure the listening audience that he wears it proudly. Nevertheless, he is a card-carrying member of DBU, and when you get that All-American honor recognized by the NCAA, you get that black card. Number 21 in your program, number 1 in your hearts, Mr. Rod Babers.
Your birthday is close to the University of Texas's birthday then. Because Craig Way's birthday, I believe, is like the day after UT's birthday.
Oh, yeah?
I want to say it's like the same, like it's like within like 2 or 3 days of it. Yeah, it's like UT's birthday, and I want to say Craig Way's birthday is like the day after, because I remember, or something like that. And then yours is pretty close to Craig Way's.
Sounds like a Craig Way nugget.
Craig Way's is like a week. I think Craig Way's is like a week, something ago, maybe.
Yeah, it's like the 15th, I believe.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I don't know why. Weirdly, I know that. I don't know my friend's birthday. You are obviously a friend of mine. I am weird about that as a guy. Like I don't know my guy friend's birthday. My girlfriend gets mad at me. She's like, "Did you know? Oh, it's September 15th."
I think they have the same birthday. I think Craig and
they
UT
might.
do.
Craig Way and UT may have the same birthday. It might be
That's
something freaky
amazing.
like that. I don't know if
Blew
it's
my
for
mind
sure,
as
but
Craig
it's
Way
really
walks
close.
in the door.
It's really, really close. Where it's like within 2 days. But anyway, like guys don't know their other guy friends' birthdays as well as they should.
Nope,
you know
Facebook
what I mean?
changed
Like, you can
that.
have a best friend in the world as a guy and be like, and not be sure about his birthday. You're like, I think it's August 20-something.
You're right though, Matt. That is definitely one thing Facebook is good for. But then you got jackass friends like I've got that they'll like intentionally change their birthday just to like kind of pull a rib on people. Be like, I have my birthday July 2nd. Like I know damn well your birthday is July 2nd.
Well, guys don't care about birthdays. That is mostly women. My brother cares about his birthday weirdly as a man, but most men care nothing about their birthdays at all. Women celebrate like half birthdays. I've been with women who celebrate half birthdays.
I've heard of
like
those.
Celebrate it. Like literally, we gotta
party.
Like we're gonna do something. I'm like, for what? Like my half birthday.
I mean, we did that for my daughter. Like we made a big deal about when she was halfway to turning a year old.
Well, yeah, that's like your daughter. She's
That's
just
6
born
months
into the
old.
world.
That's when you're taking months by account.
I'm talking about like 25-year-old woman who's like, no, I'm going out for my half birthday.
I'm 25 and a half today.
You sociopath. You egomaniac.
Well, we won't talk about birthdays and the mental function of people and how they respond to them. Guys, I want to work backwards. We'll get into the Oklahoma State game, and we've got this week's show and next week's show to talk about
West Virginia.
Texas a quarter of the way through the season, and we'll get into West Virginia next week. And We've got 2 shows to basically do this in, but I want to focus on the injuries at the top because that is top of mind.
I agree.
And going forward for this team, Rod, I think that's the one thing that everybody wants to know. Okay, how do you make do if you're Texas with all these injuries? So, on the injury front, Caden Stearns got a tib-fib ligament issue, out for 4 weeks, expected to be out for 4 weeks.
He will miss OU.
Josh Thompson, foot surgery, done for the year. 8 to 10 weeks.
He's going to miss OU.
Yeah, Josh
That's
Thompson.
all that matters, though.
Well, I'm just sorry. I'm just going the theme.
Undetermined specific period of time is what Texas said. We've heard 8 to 10 weeks, which pretty much
done.
Josh Thompson's done for the year. Jalen Green, dislocated shoulder, out at least a month.
He's going to miss OU.
And Rod, I want to get your take on the Jalen Green situation because you've been there, done that, unfortunately. Marcus Tillman, MCL sprain, done for the rest of the year. So the Tillman thing, that's unfortunate because
That was like the first play of the game?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
opening
it was like
kickoff.
it was a bad omen. That was like foreshadowing.
Yeah, that
So
sucks.
let's take totality of the secondary injuries. Got Green done for a month. Stearns done for roughly 4 weeks. Maybe he's back before then. Who knows? Josh Thompson pretty much done for the year. Got B.J. Foster working his way back from a hamstring injury. And DeMarvion Overshown with a back issue.
Yeah.
So, Rod, I think this week, in this bye week for Tom Herman, probably putting your DBs in bubble wrap. I don't know if you are
Pretty
or not,
much.
but
Yeah, you don't need to. Yeah, for the guys that can play, the guys like Chris Brown,
Brandon Jones.
Brandon Jones, you don't need to see much from them at all. Yeah, they just need to rest. And you hope you're basically praying that B.J. Foster and DeMarvion Overshown, that their recovery is going well, that it's going well enough for either them to be back. And I know the word on the street is that, they're supposed to be back. Everybody thinks they're going to be back for West Virginia. That'd be great because then your biggest issues would be back at the cornerback position with no Jalen Green and him being injured, and then trying to figure out basically out of your second and third best corners who you need to put out there versus one of the most explosive offenses in the country in OU, and trying to get those guys ready for OU.
Think about this at the corner position. Going into the Oklahoma State game, the staff, we got a read on how they felt about that position based on the fact that they moved Josh Thompson from safety to corner to compete with those other 3 guys opposite of Jalen Green. Like, Jalen Green hasn't been the guy they've worried about. Yes, he didn't have a great game against LSU, and I think we saw in the first half of the Oklahoma State game. There's something there with Jalen Green.
Pro Football Focus in their Big 12 Team of the Week had him as their flex. Yeah. And that he only played, I think, like a few. He only played with a half of football, basically, 14 coverage snaps, and he played so well. They had him as their flex on their Big 12 Team of the Week defensively. Yeah. So I'm with you. Jalen Green was going to show, and even Tyler Nando said that. He said, "I'm not worried about Jalen Green. Jalen Green's gonna. We just worried about him when he's going to break out. We don't know when it's going to happen, but he will break out. The other guy at corner, they don't know who the hell it's going to be." And they have no idea who that guy is.
And then his replacement just got hurt because he had to bring Thompson from a different position at one point.
Yeah, we even started to hear last year that Jalen Green might have been last year the best pure man cover guy you had. Roster.
Yeah.
And I think we're starting to see some of that. We were seeing some of that with Jalen Green. But now your pool of corners, your 3 veterans, are 3 guys that if you're Jason Washington and Todd Orlando, clearly you had trust issues or concerns with those 3 guys because you moved Josh Thompson. You felt good about Jalen Green. Both those guys out now. I would think Kenyatta Watson was working with the safeties leading up to the Oklahoma State game. I would think Kenyatta Watson moves back to corner at this point.
Out of necessity.
And you got to start figuring out, okay, what can he do? Not can he – no, he's going to need to give you something. The focus should be now, what can he do? What can he handle?
Yeah.
Rod, I don't know the best way to attack this corner position. Me personally, just looking at it and trying to fit the pieces together – I would probably put Deshaun Jameson into the boundary and have Kobe Boyce play the field and then just kind of go off field and see where things are at throughout the game.
Yeah. I mean, Anthony Cook's not hurt, but at this point it seems like he's bringing it up the rear in the competition. Obviously, the coaches aren't happy with what they've seen with Anthony Cook because we haven't heard much about him. As you pointed out, they moved Josh Thompson over there. And valued his versatility in that game versus Oklahoma State, even though Anthony Cook, I think I saw him play, but I got to go back and kind of track how many he plays, but not many at all. So, and I think he just played because they needed bodies out there. So I think at this point I agree with you. Because I think Deshaun Jameson in coverage, he's a little bit more aggressive. And I think in coverage like that on the boundary, you want somebody who's going to be aggressive. You're going to get a lot of the high percentage routes. So at least maybe he'll give himself a shot. Kobe Boyce he's tentative when he plays. So maybe the field, longer throws will give him a chance to make plays on the ball too. I mean, it's the basically the worst case scenario for the cornerback position right now. You don't trust any of those guys. And now we're wondering if Todd Orlando's going schematically, change the defense a little bit. Schematically, you have to adjust for that. There's no way you can go into.
No, you can't. It can't be the same defense. You don't have a Kevin Stearns over the top to be able to be.
And we haven't gotten to. I'm just talking about the cornerback. You're right. Yeah, no, it all works. It all works as a one unit. And you're right. Cornerback right now, those guys are going to need help. And they gave him a lot of help in Oklahoma State. They gave him a lot of help, even with Jalen Green. They gave him a lot of help over the top. But that's because you did have most of your safeties available, or at least more of them than you do now.
And when you look at just the personnel now, you're lucky that now you don't want the injuries to happen, but having the bye to where Orlando gets 2 full weeks to at least put different pieces into positions and see what you have some time to sample and try stuff out.
You got to evaluate.
And you can literally, it's sort of like a mini camp.
It is. You got to figure out who can cover and who can't, who's good in zone, who's not.
There you go,
tackle,
and who works well together and whose deficiencies can be masked by other guys. So at least you're luckily right here at this point at the bye when you basically have to start with a new secondary, because if you don't get Foster over Sean back, like you're literally talking about, you had, 9 or 10 guys you like coming in, and now you're down to a secondary.
Yeah, it's scary. There's no other way to really describe it. I mean, it's scary. Those guys are going to grow, though. Like reps, you guys get better with more reps. I think the assumption is with Deshaun Jameson that he's going to get better with more reps. I don't know if that same assumption is with Kobe Boyce because he's so inconsistent and he is a veteran. But Deshaun Jameson is a guy that changed positions last year. I think it's more about a comfortability with him. Like, hey, man, is he comfortable there yet? To the point where he knows the defense, he knows his alignment, assignment, and now he can just go out there and play football, and he's not even thinking about it. I think now he's still, and honestly, in Oklahoma State game, he was really aggressive. It was less thinking. It was more reacting for him. And I think that's why they like him. You know what I mean? Yeah. Kobe Boyce is a thinker. He thinks. Right? The play's happening in 2 seconds. Once you start thinking, you're already done. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think they want that instinctive corner to Deshaun Jameson out there. They figure, he'll get beat, but at least he'll actually have a chance to make more plays on the football.
And if you look at just what we've seen results-wise this week and in recent weeks, because he continued to have injuries or even hampered injuries to these same players in previous weeks. And so when you've seen reps, it actually looks as if these guys have performed a little bit better, because there was a lot more of a worry a few weeks ago. We're back in camp, and even though it isn't good, when they're being forced into action due to injury, it wasn't that huge of a drastic drop-off during the game, which is actually surprising.
You may, like I said, nobody knew Chris Adamora would end up having a good game. They threw him out there in the fire and got a great PBU down there in the end zone, and then, of course, came up with the clutch onside kick. I mean, so
Chris
Kenyatta Watson,
Brown's like your most consistent and good playmaker.
But like your point, like by Kenyatta Watson, now you got to see what he can do. Now you got to see if he can give you some good reps. And hell, if he go out there and actually starts making plays, maybe you have to throw a puppy out there before he's ready to be a dog and just say, hey, man, go out there and just give it everything you got. Just fight. I need you to fight at that cornerback spot. So, I get it. I agree with Matt. It's mini camp all over again. You got like eight days basically to try to evaluate these guys all over again and see where they are or reevaluate.
Let me ask you this, Rod. I don't want to, the guy's a sophomore. He's 4 games into his sophomore year, so I don't want to say it's now or never. But is it now or never for Anthony Cook, like with this opportunity he's got, considering how bad of a camp he had by all accounts? And it hasn't started well like anybody thought it would start for him this season.
No.
Is it kind of now or never for him? Like with Jalen Green out, this is his opportunity. If he's going to get back in this mix and be the guy that everybody kind of assumed he could be, he's got to do it now, right?
Well, you have to, because if you're the coaches and they're going to have their brunch, right, or something, off their bye-week brunch or something coming up, I guarantee you one of the topics to discuss will be, we got to recruit corners. We need corners. It's crazy to think that because they've been recruiting secondary really well, but a lot of the guys have been versatile DBs who have kind of moved into the safety position. They need guys. They need cover corners. And I don't know the recruiting aspect of it in the class and what they got already, but I guarantee, and that's why he needs to pick it up, because they're going to recruit over him pretty soon.
You mentioned that.
It's just going to happen. It's natural.
I did think it was interesting that they didn't find anything they liked, but in that 2020 or the 2019 cycle, they kicked the tires and looked at, okay, is there anything corner-wise in the grad transfer market or the JUCO market that's appealing.
Yeah.
Because they wanted a veteran presence at corner.
And they didn't know what they had with those other guys.
Right.
And like you said, none of those guys have taken ownership of that spot yet. It's been up for grabs.
Like even Jalen Green, like they thought they knew what they had with Jalen Green, but they didn't really know.
Yeah.
Until they got him on the field.
Yeah. No, that I agree with you. So I think if you're Anthony Cook right now, even for his own psyche, I mean, it's as a cornerback, I can't think of many guys at DBU. There are exceptions to the rule. I think Chris Brown actually is an exception to the rule. You know what I mean? Where a guy becomes a late bloomer at DBU. Late bloomers at DBU are rare. Usually at DBU, you see pretty early on, oh, that guy can play. Like, give me, other than Chris Brown, hell, even Ahmad Brooks started as a freaking sophomore. Give me a late bloomer in DBU.
Not many.
Late bloomers don't happen at DBU, baby, because we're bringing them in so many good ones that
technically Aaron Ross because he just couldn't get in the door.
Aaron Ross, he wasn't playing. Yeah, once he played, he was.
He was fine. That's the only thing I can think of.
But it's kind of been my thing. Like, I don't remember a lot of late bloomers at DBU, guys that all of a sudden their senior year, like they step up and have this great. Like, damn. I mean,
will Ryan Palmer maybe qualify?
I thought about that, but I didn't.
Ryan, I guess, but if you want, I mean,
or Brandon Foster.
Yeah,
they got
but
jobs
a lot of people would
late.
consider that. I'm gonna say that they would consider those down years of DBU. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just saying, like those.
Agreed. That's why I didn't mention them.
But
that's where we're at, though.
And they got their DBU greatness, All-American, All-Conference, NFL type players. Those guys, and that's what usually Texas is putting on the field. That's the goal. Those guys are on late bloomers.
Yeah, because Aaron Ross and Michael
as
Griffin
freshmen and
were
sophomores,
those guys.
they're either starting or already getting started.
Because even like Adrian Phillips in a loaded secondary was playing as a true freshman.
Yeah, like those guys play. Like it's
Quandre
just
Diggs
if you can't even earn your right on the field as a freshman or a sophomore, usually, I'm not saying they give up on you, but they recruit past you. Like it's already somebody in the pipe. There's behind me was Michael Huff and Cedric Griffin and Aaron Ross. If Rod B wasn't producing, Rod B was done.
Yep.
Like that's just the way it's supposed to be. So I don't know. I'm with you. I think that's going to your point about Anthony Cook. Dude, it's now or never, because at that point I think coaches wisely will start recruiting to get them a true cover corner.
Yeah, because if you can't make the jump
Dylan
now,
Haynes.
when are you going to make it when, Keaton Crawford and Ethan Pouncey and all these guys get here next year?
Yeah,
and Kenyatta Watson's a year older and Jalen Green comes back from injury?
Yeah, like I don't know. That's usually not how it works in the rate of development. But like I said, Chris Brown, he's playing at all conference level right now. He's playing unbelievable football. You brought Ryan Palmer and their guys. So there are guys there. I mean, you know what I mean? But it's rare.
Your saving grace in the secondary right now, though, is how good Chris Brown has been. And we don't talk enough about the consistency of Brandon Jones.
Man.
Yes, I know the issue with the punt in the Oklahoma State game.
That's special teams Brandon Jones, not DB Brandon Jones. They're
totally different.
So is that like
is
that your take that like Hulk Hogan is not a racist, but Terry Bollea is a racist?
Exactly.
Okay.
That's the truth.
Different duties.
Brandon Jones on special teams. Yeah, I didn't recognize. Hell, Nathan Vasher is a different guy on special teams. I've seen him make
Hulk Hogan
boneheaded
fights for the right
before.
of every man, Rod. Every man. Terry Bollea, not so much. Apparently.
No, but I think for Brandon Jones, he has been, considering the position they put him in by switching him to nickel, and I still think nickel's the toughest position to play arguably on defense in the Big 12, and he did it almost seamlessly, and it seems like he actually is still playing at a really high level, even though they put him in a position I think is tougher to play than the safety position. I think Brandon Jones, behind Joseph Asai, it might be your MVP on defense.
I think Mikael Thompson maybe will fit our profile. That it got late.
There
bloomer.
you go, Matt. Okay.
Oh, late bloomer. That's a good point.
His fifth year,
but he was playing early.
Point is,
and Coach Akina told me as a sophomore, this guy's got Jim Thorpe Award type ability.
Which is crazy.
Going back to my point, he played early.
And then
Anthony Cook can't see the field right now.
Yeah.
Like he can't see the field when they got an open competition at corner. That's different. Mikael Thompson was playing early, dog. He was playing there early
a little
on.
bit. I mean, but we're talking about a young guy like Cook and sophomore.
I'm sorry, like he can't even listen. I struggled as a young sophomore, but I was on the field because
Cool,
it was like,
I'm just saying,
this guy.
we don't have to
Rod
stay
Bean
on
and Jalen
Mikael.
Green.
We can
He
move on
will
from Mikael.
end up. The light will go off for him. He's that kind of player. That means what they're seeing in practice, they don't even think the light's going to come on for him. Like they're not even putting him on the field. He's not even in the
that's where
competition.
Mikael
They
was
moved
for 2
Josh
years.
Thompson there because they wanted him fourth in the cornerback competition on the opposite side of Jalen Green. Think about that.
And Josh
Agreed,
Thompson actually
'cause
played
Mikael
against
lost
That's what I'm saying. Like, dude, he's not even. He's not. Don't disrespect Mikael Thompson
No,
by
I'm
putting
just
him
trying
in
to bring
Anthony
up
Cook
a name.
category.
Just trying to bring up a name. But
Yeah.
there was also 2 years that he went to the bench, and then his last year, senior year, when Charlie came, he became a starter.
But he kept going back
I'm
to
just
the
trying
bench
to think of
and coming
one-
back on. Going back and forth. That
No,
means the
you're
coaches
right.
were struggling. Right? Oh, should we play him? He's really, really talented. talented, but he sucks. He's really, really talented, but he sucks. You know what I mean?
He's
With
the
Anthony
only
Cook, it's
guy
like,
I can
he
think
sucks.
of. He's the only guy I can think of comparable.
Nobody's fighting for him and saying he's really, really talented. We got to put him out there. No coach is right now.
Remember you
That's pretty obvious.
you telling stories about some of your heated debates with Coach Akina about Mikael Thompson.
Oh man, no, well, I didn't agree. He was he had Thorpe Award written down low, but I mean the Giants did. The Giants drafted him ahead of Quandre Diggs.
Mm-hmm.
I remember.
You know what I mean?
I remember calling Mikael on draft day and him kind of being at a loss for words. He's like, I didn't think they were going to take me
because
he figured that the Giants were really the only team that was that interested, and he was like, hey, they'll just hang out, and after the draft they'll probably call and get this free agent deal done. But no, fifth round they.
Ahead of Quandre Diggs, who's one of the best DBs in the NFL right now. Like I think they talked to Coach Akina and they saw the physical traits and were like, dude, if the light goes off of this guy,
it could be.
This guy has Pro Bowl potential. Everything written all over him. It's like, well, still got to play ball.
If it weren't for Aaron Ross, between you and Mikael Thompson, Giants fans will freak out the next time they draft the Texas DB.
Exactly. The Giants fans say the same thing about Rodney B. That guy sucked. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's just Mikael Thompson. I think he played early on. Like I don't think he plays a sophomore. Playing 13 games.
Sophomore. Start
playing 12 games as a freshman. I mean, he was playing the whole time. So like he didn't have started every game, but he was playing. Anthony Cook ain't even playing.
Right.
And they put Chris Adamora out there, dude. They put Anthony Cook out there. Come on, dude. They're like, Anthony, get out of the way. Yeah, Chris Adamora, come on, man, let's go. Like DBs are dropping like flies, guys.
Yeah.
You lost 4 of them in the game, and they couldn't put Anthony Cook on the field.
That's not good.
They're fearful of putting that guy on the field.
Yeah. You know, I want to get back to Brandon Jones though. Like I asked him about making the move to nickel, and he gave me kind of an interesting answer. He said really doesn't change a whole lot for him because in his position in that safety room, Craig Niver tries to make sure those safeties, they know field, they know boundary, they know joker, they know nickel, just in case he's got to shift guys around, he's got to move things. And he said the biggest difference is he said obviously his vision has changed because he's used to seeing things from the back end, so it's really more of a compressed area. He's like, so it's kind of weird not knowing, there's stuff going on behind you and you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
He said, but then it just comes down to just covering guys.
Pretty much, yeah. It's more instinctual, that nickel. I mean, for him, when he's blitzing, obviously that's all about timing and him being able to kind of decipher, like, BGO and ball snap when the ball is snapped. And if he's in zone coverage, obviously things are a little bit easier, but you're looking at route concepts, what the number 1, number 2 receiver are doing, and how the offense is kind of game playing against you, what concepts they're using to attack you. And then when you're in man, you just got to cover man. But I will say in man, he's held up pretty good. He did have the Stoner play where Stoner got behind him, but because he didn't give up on the play, he was able to get to PBU.
Yeah, I think that was a really good play design by Oklahoma State too. If you watch that unfold.
I'm sure it was. Yeah. I mean, no, you're not gonna listen at nickel, man. You're gonna have times where you're gonna you're gonna get beaten on the play. Hopefully, you get beaten to your help. You know what I mean? You get beaten where you can recover. I think he's played really, really well at nickel. I think he's making himself some money.
Yeah,
I think NFL scouts are looking at him going, oh, he can cover too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's try to piece this secondary together. So we know what corner is. You throw Kenyatta Watson in there. You know what, Rod? I don't think it's going to happen, but I wouldn't be totally shocked if they didn't get Chris Adamora a look at corner.
Interesting.
Just because of what I've heard of him in camp when the pads came on, that whether it was Devin Duvernay or Jake Smith, he did really well when they told him, hey, wherever that guy goes, you got him.
Cat coverage, baby.
Yeah.
Get that cat.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I mean, I haven't looked at how big is he? Like, what's his? Because his body style is kind of
6 foot 200.
Yeah, it looks compact enough to be able to do it. Basically, yeah. No, I could see that.
I mean,
right now you just need bodies.
Yeah,
and somebody that can do it adequately.
There's not a bad option you can.
That's not a bad option. No, I'm with you. I think you need creative ideas right now about how to just be able to get to manufacture depth at corner, especially if you don't trust Anthony Cook and he's not ready to take it to the next level.
And again, you know Josh Thompson's not coming back, and you don't really know when Jalen Green's coming back.
Yeah, so you need to actually literally potentially basically go a month or longer with whoever you got now or whatever you're going to have at corner.
I'll take it a step further than Matt did it, Rod. This bye week, it's almost like you're back to spring ball where you're just experimenting.
Yeah. No, you got to reevaluate. You got to find out who can cover and who can't.
Yeah.
Who your 2 best man coverage guys, who can play bump, who's better in zone coverage.
For situational defense, because you're going to have a lot of these different things, and one game may change to the next, and you know it's going to against Oklahoma and Lincoln Riley. So he's got to know what tools can be used in what situations.
Like maybe, because Deshaun Jameson is only 5'9", and we know at least in the spring he had issues covering bigger receivers. Maybe in red zone situations, maybe Chris Adam Moore becomes your boundary corner, or Kenyatta Watson becomes your boundary corner.
Yeah. I know, I'm with you. I think you got to get creative. I wouldn't be against that either. And I would say you have, maybe because you're rotating guys, you know what defense to play if you're going to rotate some of those guys in and out, and you kind of just play to their strengths. Right. But man, it's going to be a true test, a hell of a test for Todd Orlando the next month in the Big 12. Yeah. I mean, and we thought this Oklahoma State game was a test for him, and it really was, and I think he passed with flying colors. But the next month is going to be a hell of a challenge to go through the Big 12 with your third or fourth best corners or whatever it is he's going to have to do. It's going to be a pretty it's going to be a daunting task.
I remember we used to joke about just imagining Will Muschamp in a room, just watching film, and that's all he does. Right now, Orlando may not sleep for the next 2 weeks because he has to basically recreate an entire defense before the whole season's on the line.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
So we know what corner looks like. When you look at that safety position, Rod, the interesting thing for me is if let's say B.J. Foster is ready to go for West Virginia, which sounds like that's going to be the case.
That'd be great.
That'd be huge.
Do you leave Brandon Jones at nickel and just put B.J. Foster at deep safety, or without Caden Stearns, do you value the speed and veteran presence of Brandon Jones more back deep as opposed to being in the nickel?
I think it all depends on I think that's a matchup thing. I think you got to use Brandon Jones weekly as a matchup guy. If they got somebody in the slot that can really do some damage to you, and they use their slot receivers like that, like we use Duvernay.
CeeDee Lamb.
Their age, they treat their slot like we treat our H, then you need Brandon Jones in that slot. You do. You know what I mean? And that way you can still have B.J. Foster. And the thing about Chris Brown and B.J. Foster, both of them are really physical at the line of scrimmage.
Right.
Both of those guys I could see playing in the box and no issue at all. Honestly, I'd be worried about their range. And I don't know, does Chris Brown have more range as a safety probably than B.J. Foster? He might. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. B.J. Foster's got good range.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If you want to think about moving a center field safety or that field safety, and I know it sounds crazy to move Chris Brown away from the line of scrimmage and away from the box because he's so good there. But if you got B.J. Foster back, you're starting to play to guys' strengths, right? You're like, hey, this guy does this well. B.J. Foster's your best blitzer. He needs to be near the line of scrimmage. He needs to be in the box. That needs to be what he does. And
Chris, coming off a hamstring, maybe not good.
And maybe not have him running, from sideline to sideline. You know what I mean? So I agree. I think you just kind of take that basis and I agree. Sometimes Brandon Jones will be better as your center fielder when you don't have a Caden Stearns, because maybe against Oklahoma, maybe you're going to need that blanket. Maybe you're going to need that safety blanket against Oklahoma. You know what I mean? Maybe at Oklahoma you got to try. And who would play nickel then? That's the question.
At least you have a couple people that can. That's what's good about it.
Chris Brown. Because I wouldn't trust B.J. Foster playing nickel now with that hand.
I mean, honestly, you might have to look at how much nickel does Chris Adamora play now. Because Chris Adamora is technically your backup nickel now.
Yeah, you might have to see. And you know what? Maybe that's perfect. Like you said, maybe he needs to be thinking about playing nickel and corner right now, because that's what you need right now just to kind of fill out the roster. Because I agree, against certain teams, I'd rather Brandon Jones playing that center field since we don't have Caden Stearns. It was beautiful when you had Caden Stearns and Brandon Jones. It's like, well, we got a center fielder, so we can always put Brandon Jones the nickel, and we're still good safety of the top. And by the way, I thought Caden Stearns actually played one of his better games this year against Oklahoma State too. But now with no natural center fielder, you got to make the determination week by week which one is more important, my nickel or my center field safety.
Or the other thing you can figure out too is, can Montrell Estelle continue to function for you as one of those deep safeties?
Yeah, Montrell Estelle. We got to pick.
That was one of my takeaways.
How about late bloomers? Montrell Estelle's in that category.
That was one of my takeaways right after the game, because I've got to do an instant reactions piece that goes live right at kickoff, and that was my takeaway. Was just think about this. Texas at the end of that game, no Caden Stearns, no B.J. Foster, no DeMarvion Overshown, and you've still got playmakers on the field at safety.
Yeah.
And no
Chris Brown's making plays. Brandon Jones is making plays. Adam Moore's making plays.
Thompson.
Back to your point, though, Rod, corner, it should be a need in recruiting. oozing talent at safety right now.
You really are. You're finding out guys you didn't even know that could play at that high level, like Chris Brown. So I'm with you.
Montreal still has a pick in the Oklahoma State game.
Yeah.
No, it's good. That sort of reminds me of, like you were saying, the DBs behind you in your class that, I remember not knowing who Huff was or Griffin was, but in the third or fourth quarters, those dudes would come in ball hawking and be taking balls back the other way. And if you get that drop off where you've never seen this guy in action and you have an injury that may be catastrophic and then you don't notice much drop off, it's like, okay, there's some depth being formed here.
So you still have depth at safety. That is freaky considering how many guys you lost, and you still have. Yeah, I forgot all about Montreal Estelle. So the truth is, basically, going back to our initial idea about trying to mitigate the damage at corner. Even before we had to deal with the Oklahoma State game, or even back before the Louisiana Tech game, we were talking about it. Mm-hmm. You take your depth at safety and you figure out which one of those guys can cover, and then you start to fill in the holes at corner if you need. And right now, you desperately need it. So, yeah I'm with you. Chris Adamora, I think you might just need to put him at corner and nickel right now. Just try to see if you can fill out some depth, just to give you more options there, you know what I mean, to evaluate.
You don't know it, learn it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And, it'll help him. It really will. Like, it'll make him a better player, no question about it.
Yeah, I think at the very least, based on the Brandon Jones scenario we just laid out and what do you do against Oklahoma, we don't want to look past
we're not
West
looking
Virginia.
Ahead. Trust me,
the team can't. We can do whatever the heck we want on a podcast. But that's a game where you're going to need Chris Adamore in that nickel position against Oklahoma.
Yep, you're going to need a physical presence there, and you're going to need somebody that can cover in that nickel, and that can run. So I agree with you, I think. And then you still also going to need a center fielder. You're going to need somebody that can help you over the top with the big plays because they're going to chunk it deep too.
And then if that's Jones, then the fact we know how much Todd Orlando loves to blitz with his safeties and get that havoc rate with his safeties, now your X factor becomes, okay, is DeMarvion Overshown back by the Oklahoma game? Like, when is DeMarvion Overshown ready?
Yeah, what's the percentage of B.J. Foster? How healthy is he?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
so it's not, look.
You have Chris Brown. I still think you're still okay. You're great at safety still. If Overshown and B.J. Foster are on track. If they're not, then you got some trouble there too.
Right. So this is a big week for those guys.
This is a big week for those guys.
To make sure that they're right going into
and
the
honestly,
game.
I wouldn't think they'd be doing. I don't know where they are in their recovery, but I would think, like you said, no DBs, no safeties are doing a damn thing like this week. I'm waiting on game week to see if everybody can come back as healthy as possible for game week. Yeah.
I was on with Bucky and Aaron Tuesday morning, and Aaron kind of led off with asking, okay, based on the injuries, what is the secondary? How do you feel about the Oklahoma game? And I'm like, even if everybody was healthy, I'd still be concerned about the Oklahoma game.
Actually, now I'm more concerned about it, I will say, because watching Spencer Sanders out there as an elite runner at the quarterback position in the plus one, it's got me a little concerned.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. I kept thinking about Jalen Hurts at that time. I was like,
I know, because for some reason Jalen Hurts' foot speed looks so much quicker than he did at
offense,
Alabama. It's weird.
Exactly. In that offense, he looks
like
faster.
Spencer Sanders.
He looks more explosive in that offense. It's weird, but I think it's just because of the offense. Honestly, yeah.
Well, let's talk about Spencer Sanders and that Texas defense against the Oklahoma State offense. And Rod, I think if you said going into the game, Chuba Hubbard's going to have 3.3 a carry, and Tylan Wallace will catch 5 balls for less than 100 yards and not score. You'd say, Texas probably wins that game by a couple touchdowns. And honestly, had it not been for the 2 muff punts,
very close.
Maybe it's there.
Yep,
very close.
We talked, for the LSU game, how, and maybe it was the Texas staff not thinking. Tom Herman's he did say the Thursday before the Oklahoma State game that maybe LSU was a little bit better offensively than they thought. The plan against LSU was not good offensively. Defensively.
It wasn't creative or innovative. You know what I mean? Like, it just was. To me, they did not get a schematic advantage really through the game plan, in my opinion. Right?
It was a very structurally sound offense you're against. That it seemed it was going to need something impressive from Orlando to go out there.
And it just seemed like, again, the further away we get from that game, to me, my takeaway from it is, I really think the Texas staff used that game as a barometer to see, hey, athlete for athlete, from a physicality standpoint, against a team that should be
top 5
right
team
in the mix for a CFP spot. How do we stack up? I think that's how they approached it. And that's why I think Tom Herman said we knew win or lose we were going to be better for that game. It's just me kind of piecing all that together.
I agree with
Rod, what did we talk about, though? We said because of how important this staff knows takes the Big 12 schedule compared to non-conference, especially as this programs continue to build, the game plans for Oklahoma State are going to be much better.
Yeah, that's all.
And for Todd Orlando, game plan for Oklahoma State was much better.
It was, yeah. It was you got to give him props. He earned some street cred with that game plan.
Tom Herman talked about it after the game, but basically what Texas did was they played trap coverage to one side of the field, which was taking the nickel and the corner, and basically you're going to, air quotes, trap any kind of outcut, curl, basically anything short so you can be aggressive and run support. Where that did not apply to Tylan Wallace's side of the field, which they're going to try to double Tylan Wallace all the time. And what trap coverage, in effect, forced Spencer Sanders to do was it was the defense telling him, look, you're basically in a cover 2 shell, and everything vertical is getting passed off to the safety. And it's basically Todd Orlando saying, look, young man, if you can hit that 40-yard post route and one-on-one coverage, then I'll tip my cap to you. You did a good job. Yeah. But those were the throws they were going to give him. And Rod, he hit an uncomfortable amount of them.
I thought Oklahoma State should try to throw more of those over the top, kind of where he's scrambling, keeping the play alive, and just kind of chunking it
just
deep
to get Texas to do something else.
Wide receiver, yeah.
Todd Orlando never had to deviate from the plan.
Yeah, and honestly, there are a lot of times where those guys got behind Texas because it's really hard to cover what we call the movement routes, where that's when a wide receiver doesn't stop. They're just running, clear across the field, whether it be a post route or a long crossing route or a drag, whatever. Call them movement routes. When a guy's running, there's a movement route, and he's literally just streaking. He's basically blown up the coverage. The coverage doesn't exist anymore. Coverage is a shell of it, and cover 2, safeties over the top. It doesn't exist anymore once a guy is streaking to the other sideline. You know what I mean? You're passing off routes. So he didn't test the communication of the safeties. You had Texas DBs dropping like flies. If I was him, honestly, I'd have ran deep crossing routes, all right, all night long with a delayed drag route or the running back out as an outlet, a late release by a running back, giving Spencer Sanders time to extend the play and giving him options like a dump off. And he never did that. There was never a delayed release. Because think about it, the safeties are dropping deep. They're all sprinting back, and the defensive line was pushing, right? They were either trying to get to Spencer Sanders or they were trying to cover guys on the back end. What's in between? Late releases, baby. The tight end should have been the cowboy back, the running back, which we know Gundy for some reason hates throwing the ball, or running back, which I still don't understand.
These days he does. He used to not.
If he'd just thrown it to Chuba 1 or 2 times, a good chance that Chuba probably would have got 30, 40 yards because there's nobody covering the running backs.
And they
because he never throws to them.
Doesn't even target them.
Doesn't even target them.
All year.
They never used play action. I never saw any. There was no screens.
Yep.
Like, what's the screens? Texas was really aggressive. Our corners were coming in the backfield to try to stop run plays. Where was the screen? So if I was an Oklahoma State fan, I just kept looking, going, "Damn, this is one of the worst adjustments that I've ever seen by Mike Gundy." As a matter of fact, I don't think I saw an adjustment other than let's run the quarterback because he's our best chance to get explosive plays in the running game.
You had the stat going into the game that Oklahoma State, I think, was a 67% of the time.
Run rate on first down was 67% in the first 3 games. It was 73.5%, I believe, on first down.
28-8
in this game.
And Mike Gundy,
so he ran the ball more on first down.
Yeah, Mike Gundy went against kind of what he's been in some of these big games he's coached in, where it's not like Belichick levels, but it's almost like he's giving you. It's almost like he's setting you up to give you. He's giving you bad information.
Misinformation.
It's misinformation.
Yeah.
And
I thought he would break tendency. He never broke tendency.
No, he didn't.
I was like, he's going to break tendency here pretty soon. He's going to do something freaky and crazy. And he never broke tendency. He played right into the hands of Todd Orlando, and give Todd Orlando credit because it was Todd Orlando's game plan, which I think almost forced him into a very uncomfortable corner where he didn't want to be a riverboat gambler. He didn't want to play the odds. Todd Orlando basically said, listen, you got 3 threats. You got Chuba, the best, the most prolific and productive running back in the country. You got Tylan Wallace, most productive wide receiver in the country. And you got Spencer Sanders, a dual threat quarterback. I'm going to take away Chuba, and I'm taking away Tylan Wallace. If Spencer Sanders can beat me, I'm going to let him beat me.
Yeah.
And by the way, we had that coming to America moment where that boy's good.
Yeah.
Where I think all over was like, hey, that boy might beat us.
You got to at least prove it first.
Yeah,
the others are known commodities.
And we helped them, right? Basically, it'll have been a 2-touchdown probably game where Texas wins unless you have the fumbled punts and all that kind of stuff. And Texas getting really conservative on offense. So I think in other phases, Texas helped them. But defensively, you look at it, Orlando, basically, I want to make sure I get the stat right because it's a great stat. In the 10 drives where Texas kicked off the football or punted the football to them, and they got it via a kick of some sort.
A conventional method of
conventional method. They only scored 9 points, I believe, on those 10 drives. And then on it was 4 drives, I believe, where they got it via turnover on downs, interception, or fumble. And I think they scored 21 points on that. Yeah,
They're
so
3
What
TDs.
you're saying
there you go.
is,
So there you go. I mean, in a nutshell, it was a Texas offense that basically helped them out.
so what you're saying is
special teams, too.
in the film room on Sunday, Todd Orlando's throwing stuff at the whiteboard about sudden change defense.
Sudden change defense needs work. The sudden change defense is a problem. But, I mean, you haven't had to deal with that because Sam doesn't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
So I would say, number one,
Short fields.
you just haven't really had a lot of sudden change because Sam doesn't turn the ball over very often. And, yeah, I agree with you. I think with a young defense, which is one of the youngest defenses that Texas has seen in its history, I think, the veterans are the ones. Sudden change, let's go. Like, let's hold them right here. Remember, Texas was really good at that win. Like, 2017, they were really good in sudden change. Right? Because I think that was a veteran group.
Well, and Sam was turning the ball over a lot.
Yeah.
So.
Really good situational group.
They had a lot of
More
practice.
sample size and a better sample size.
And a better sample size, yeah. So I think that's just like a growth and maturity thing.
And then
Yeah,
you
that's
talked
a good
about the
point.
running on first down, though. I charted it. Me and Rod were texting about some of it last
Crazy.
night. But, it's crazy to see because when you think of Oklahoma State, like you said, you think of not only breaking tendencies, but you think about just somebody running loose behind your defense and getting a big play and winning in the explosives and winning through the pass game.
Yeah.
And that's what you're fearful when you see Wallace. But then whenever you see, okay, well, Texas was able to double-team Wallace and not really negate him. At the first half, you got a little worried, but then it just sort of disappeared after that. And it really just intertwines with one another because you look at the way that you knew that Gundy, and there's that mutual respect between Herman. If they have the numbers advantage, you're going to run it. And if you have an advantage on the outside, you're going to take it. Well, you aren't giving them the man outside. So then because you're doubling there, you're able to bring less. But the main thing is you're enticing Oklahoma State to run the ball with what they perceive as a numbers advantage, yet Coburn and Roach in the D-line were able to reset the line and be able to win at the line of scrimmage. So Gundy's making the right coaching play, and Herman knows that he's going to make the right coaching play, and coaches Sanders up to make the right check at the line, and they check at the line before every single play. And then when they see that numbers advantage, they're like, all right, we got it, we're running. And then they end up running 14 times in the first half for 49 yards, 14 times the second half for 48 yards on first down. And then they only throw those 4 times each half for 30 yards and a pick. And with Texas knowing that they can sort of now dictate the terms on the defensive side and decide the type of play call they want, it allows you to have the numbers advantage to double. You're winning up front to negate the running game, and then that allows Spencer only to win after Texas has already won the play.
The play
and
breaks
that's
down.
your best offense, and if you're deducing Gundy's offense down to that, that's awesome. And then on the other end, breaking tendencies, you look at Texas, and Texas didn't have a great pass rate on first down, but if you go through the first few drives, hell, you go through the first 12 first down plays, Texas ran 10 times. The thing is Texas run. First time you get a first down in the red zone, pass touchdown.
Yeah.
Second time you get into the red zone, you pass touchdown. Those 2 passes out of those 12 first down ones were breaking tendency because all you had done is run the entire game on first down, and then you throw
the
for
red zone,
touchdowns.
the most important possession of the drive.
And then the very last one touchdown was also a pass play on first down. So Sam Ellinger was 3 for 4 for 96 yards.
Was the flea flicker part of that?
Yeah, that was in the second half to Brewer. So that was also on first down. The
right?
Eagles was also in the first. So in the first half, he's 3 for 4 for 96 yards and 3 touchdowns passing. And he only barely broke tendency, only in the most leveraged spot. But that's also where Texas's defense gets so good in those small situations with this type of defense that you're doing, because you're taking away their red zone target, doubling him, forcing them to run, and it's just feeding you both ways. It was well coached on that side by Herman, at least on the chess match aspect on both of them.
That's a brilliant breakdown, and I think you're around the money. It basically Todd Orlando bet on his defensive line, and the defensive line were able to flip the numbers advantage back because Kendrick Coburn
and
consistently reset the line of scrimmage. Malcolm Roach had great. Even Taquan Graham, I saw him flash consistently.
Two big
It's
balls.
great.
Ojimo
Listen to
was
Herb
out
Street.
there.
Herb Street's like, why are they still running with 3 minutes left?
Yeah.
He's like, I sort of understood it before. And while he's saying that, Coburn and Roach just eat up
Or demolish
3-yard
it,
loss.
And one thing they also did really well, and I know they missed a lot of tackles. I counted at least 15 missed tackles. So they missed a ton of tackles too. But most of those were on Spencer Sanders. If you go look at when Tylan Wallace and Chuba Hubbard are trying to make plays, there are a ton of guys, in their vicinity. There are a ton of guys that are, you could tell that they're pursuing the football, pursuing those guys specifically. Basically, the game plan was all about, hey, man, Spencer Sanders can go out there and win the Heisman in this game, then we're going to give it up to him. And honestly, he wasn't able to do it. Honestly, if Gundy would have put him in a better position, he might have been able to do it. But I agree with you. I think the defensive line and arguably the offensive line is probably what won the game for Texas because they dominated both lines of scrimmage with the running game and, of course, being able to defend the run.
And we've seen him one play in like 2 weeks, like a guy like Coburn has sort of made himself into. Now I feel quite confident that we have one of the better D linemen with him and Roach side by side.
Yeah.
Then it's like, okay, that's formidable. Find another one in the conference.
If that guy's going to continue on this path, then
he's a
that
three-year
defense
guy.
is going to be scary. That defense is going to be scary because we all know great Todd Orlando defense, at least recently, they have that war daddy in the middle, and right now he's becoming a war daddy.
It's your freedom to do whatever you want on the back end you do.
And he is when Tom Herman's saying that the D-line doing their job doesn't always, materialize in stats, he's talking about the D tackle.
Yeah.
Because there are other positions we've seen
Unless
that they
you're Aaron
actually
Donald.
Malcolm Roach and Taquan Graham, we can see those guys. They got 12 tackles for loss, I believe, in that game. You can see those guys. Their effort appears on the stat sheets, but I will say Kendrick Coburn's does not.
He's if you look at the defensive box score, his name doesn't show up. I'm like, surely you got to credit him with a hurry or something.
Pro Football Focus, y'all need to work on the D tackle. He needs stats for that guy because he does. I call them resets, where you reset the line of scrimmage, where basically you push the line of scrimmage back because he had a ton of those where basically he pushes the line of scrimmage back.
No, somebody charts D-line plus minus where it's just where do you end on that play. If it's a run play,
do they really?
Yes.
Because I bet his stat right there is pretty good for Oklahoma State.
Is that the win rate, Matt?
I'm going to look it up, but
they do have that now in the. I've seen them keep it up with that.
Charts win
they
rate.
have win rate basically. I think is it 2 seconds? It's like 2 seconds. If you can hold a block for 2 seconds, that's a win for you. If you get off a block in under 2 seconds, a win for the defense. They call it win rate now.
I think it was week 3. I think for NFL centers, Trey Hopkins was number 2 in the league.
He was doing really well.
98% win rate.
I saw that.
The Bengals are trash, but he's playing really well.
He's playing really well. He's playing center because he moved from guard to center then, right?
Yeah. Good for him, modern offense.
Making money. Good for him.
Yeah, this was one of those. He was him and Adrian Phillips, Jackson Jeffcoat. That was that 2014 draft class where a lot of those guys signed as.
Well, honestly, that was actually one of the better. I don't know about that time. That's one of the better O-line groups that Texas had in a long time.
Veteran group.
Yeah.
You had Dom Espinosa was a multi-year starter. Mason Walters, Trey Hopkins, Donald Hawkins. Hawkins played a few years in the NFL.
This is one of the last groups, and we talk about this with the O-line. I brought this up to you. When was the last time Texas offense had a quarterback playing at this kind of level, all right, at this elite level like Sam Ehlinger is, and also an offensive line playing at this high level? This might be the best O-line in the Big 12. And,
don't say it, man. Don't say it.
And multiple NFL players on the O-line. There are multiple, Zach Shackelford and Cosmig and NFL love. Braun's a guy that will probably, creep on an NFL roster here or there.
He's getting there.
It's
been a while since you can check all
Hey, I
those
know
boxes.
you're right, Matt, but don't say it.
Yeah, no, it is. I think
it's
it is
only
too.
A fact.
I agree. I'm just throwing it out there. It's been a while.
Oh, I know. And I know you guys are right. I'm just not gonna. It's not gonna come out of my mouth.
But it does allow you to do. That's just why you can have a game like Oklahoma State where you do have 2 disastrous turnovers on special teams, where you do lose a ton of guys on defense, and yet you still not a well coached game even by the Tom Herman standards, and not a well played game. Tom Herman said that too, and you can still win. Why? Because you did have some dominant performances. Yeah. One was by Sam Ehlinger. I think the other was by the O-line. Devin freaking Duvernay, who we need to discuss a little bit more and give him some love. And I think that defensive line. I think you're looking at dominant performances. I think those 4 And Keontae Ingram had a great performance too, so maybe I'll throw him in at 5. Those 5 performances is what basically won you the game, in spite of the coaching, in spite of the playing, in spite of the injuries.
Yeah, I get back to Matt's point though about just how dominant the D-line was. I think what encapsulates that is that 4th and 1 stop. Mm-hmm. Well, when Oklahoma State's got 4th and 1 at the 3, Joseph Osai got credit for that tackle for loss, and Joseph Osai had a really good game. But
is that the
that was the play where
the gun? Which one? The 4th and 1. Is that the fumble early on, right? That's not the fumble.
No. I'm talking about the one where they got the stop.
Okay, I got you.
That stop happens because Malcolm Roach drives the right guard into the backfield and Chuba Hubbard trips over his own guy.
Dude, the same thing happened then when they fumbled. Remember when the forced
That was-
fumble by
that
Joseph
was
Ossai?
Coburn.
Coburn got in there.
But it was I think Osai's the one that hit it, but it was Coburn
Yeah.
who came in like a freak of nature. It was basically I almost looked at the same play.
Yeah.
'Cause I can see it in my, but I always see just Coburn just coming through, and it's so crazy because he'll just
bodies.
as a reckless abandon he'll come through, and sometimes I don't even know what gap he's shooting. He's just moving the other guy in front of him back, and that's enough to just destroy the pocket and disrupt everything. And I think it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing when you see it.
The lines of scrimmage is where when you look at, okay, what groups benefited from the LSU game the most, and not to say they were the only groups that benefited, because I think Devin Duvernay gained confidence from that game. I think Sam Ehlinger definitely took something from that game, but I think your offensive line and defensive line, Rod, coming out of that LSU game, especially like the offensive line, I think was like, if I think their mindset was, man, if we can move LSU, we can move pretty much anybody in the country.
Yeah.
And D-line wise, and Coburn talked about it and Roach talked about it, maybe if they had prepared better,
They
felt
been more
like
dominant.
they felt like physically they were just as good, if not better, than LSU's offensive line.
Yeah, and honestly, let's be honest. As we still got our theory, they may not have been as prepared as they should have been.
Right.
Because the mentality by the coach is like, no, we're gonna go in there man for man and beat LSU, which they almost did. But I agree with you 100% because it's almost what Rocky movie is it? Where is it? Is Rocky 3?
Which
you ain't
one?
so bad.
Before the
Where he
Russian-
basically starts, you ain't so bad.
All right.
When
Lang.
he's Mr. T.
Yeah.
All right, you ain't so bad. You ain't so bad. It's that moment, I think, literally where Texas has been hearing about the Big 12 and all that, and they go up against LSU, supposed to be the NFL roster with some of the top talent in the country, and they realize like, dude, you ain't so bad. Like you ain't so, you're a good player, but hell, if I'd have been better prepared, I could beat you on almost every snap if I decide. And I'm with you 100%. You had those games against really good wide receivers. You go, you're going to be drafted in the first round? Well, hell, man, I should be drafted in the first round. Then I'm as good as you are. I've had those games against
Reggie
guys.
Williams.
I did Rashawn Woods. I had a game like that against. Like, dude, you ain't so bad. Like, you know what I mean? And I think that you're right. It is a confidence builder for those guys.
Yeah. Anything? We talked a lot about the defense. I will say this one more thing, and I don't know if you guys have any parting shots on the defense. The one thing I think they really lack is a guy who can, like they had with Charles Omenihu last year, where in a tight spot you can say, look, just go line up at a 7 technique and go get after the quarterback. Like, forget your normal responsibility. I just need you to go get a pressure.
Yeah, he caused at the end of the game this past weekend, Charles Omenihu got like a big holding call that he forced at the end of the game.
When Phillip Rivers always trying to come from behind, and exasperated. And
I'm reading things from like Texans beat reporters. They're like, "Oh, Charles Omenihu's really helping out J.J. Watt and Whitney Merciless." I'm like, what alternate universe am I in where I'm reading
They
that?
put together a NASCAR package basically where they've put like their best pass rushers on the field, and they moved J.J. Watt inside, and they put Whitney Merciless on the outside, and they have Charles Omenihu there too.
That's crazy.
I mean, because he's a natural pass rusher. Pro Football Focus actually had him as one of the highest, actually the second highest graded Texan this past week.
They had him graded in week 2, and it was his first game ever because he was inactive in week 1, and then he's just right there thrown into the mix.
No, he's great.
Like highest graded rookie in the league, I think, in week 2.
Yeah, Bill O'Brien loves him, and he's going to stick. But I agree with you. You don't have a natural pass rusher. Right. What I do think you have is a lot of disruptive forces on the defensive line, and that's why I think you have him will be manufacturing more pressure from the back end.
If you've got a go-to pass rusher, it's Joseph Ossai. But Rod, I'll throw this out there, Rod. You and I talked about this not on this podcast, but I'll bring it up here for discussion. Joseph Ossai is too valuable to this defense right now as an inside linebacker.
Yeah, I think his overall ability to diagnose plays. You know what I'm saying? You waste him up there, he'll still be an impact player up there.
Right.
But and now, especially now with guys dropping like flies on the back end, you need somebody that's just a natural football that can diagnose plays really quickly and get there and make plays. So I'm with you. I think situationally, yes, you might put him down there, but not as consistently as the bookend pass rusher on every play.
Yeah.
Now and I remember I suggested that he'd be kind of your Sergio Kendall. I think he could be that if you need him to be a Sergio Kendall. But right now, you don't need him to be that. He's more valuable, I think, as an actual linebacker, whether it be inside or outside, especially in the Big 12.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So good week for the defense to get healthy. I don't know if the offense wants to take a game off because they're clicking on all eights right now, Rod. And we talk about that offensive line. And it's amazing how much of your playbook opens up when you can get that kind of surge, that kind of push on a consistent basis. And I talked to Sam Cosmi in the post game, and I asked him kind of how they felt about their ability to get a push, and he told me they felt going in like they could get a surge, but he said once it started happening, they realized they could just do that all night.
Yeah, it was like the LSU receivers when they came off the field in the Texas in the first quarter. They were like, they can't cover us, man. It's like, yeah, they can't.
And that's pretty much what it was for the Texas offensive line. It's like, hey, we can move them wherever we want.
Pretty much.
And they pretty much moved them wherever they wanted. If you honestly, Rod, if you take away, and we could talk about the conservative nature in the fourth quarter when they're trying to bleed clock, but really, if you take away the one bad fourth down decision by Tom Herman, there's not a lot to find fault with in the offense in terms of how the plan was executed.
Let me see. I can find fault with anything. Give me a couple of.
I know you can.
No. I agree with you 100%. Actually, okay. I have my two things. I
got one too. When you're done,
okay. I'll say this, and because you're right, I think it's hard to really find anything. Tom Herman admitted that fourth down call was terrible, and it was a terrible call. They rushed to the line to do it.
That's what I didn't like about it.
They saw something. I was like, what did you see? Because I didn't see it.
Yeah.
And, it was really predictable, and it was just a bad call. And this is a very creative, innovative guy. You need to have a part of your binder specifically for fourth down and one plays.
Yeah,
but this goes back to
Herman admitted he fell in love with that play, and I think it was emotion. Because he even said it post-game. He was like, no, it's just I thought I had the right play, and I fell in love with it. It had been working, I guess, in previous weeks. In this situation, he loved it, and it was like, that's very un-Herman of you. You just saying that you get infatuated and overtaken with emotion of one play.
The Bam Bam Sam play would have worked better than this.
It was
almost I thought it was going to be exactly QB.
It was almost like the body language of all 11 guys on offense. It was almost like they're like, this ain't going to work. This ain't going to work.
That's a great point. It did look like they're like, are we doing this? Oh man, this is
looked
not
just
a good
like
idea.
No, it looked just like Gundy. When Gundy had his indecision and brain fart and ended up it's 4th and 1, and he knew, I can't keep settling for field goals, but
when
I can't
his holder
get
played
touchdowns.
hot potato with the snap.
Well, no, and this one was the delay of game because of his indecision. At the time, we thought he was just trotting a kicker out there to kick a field goal, but he knew we've been just settling for field goals. Can't keep doing it, and he was going to fake it. And it was his indecision for 10 seconds that he still rushed him out there, and they tried to get it off, but they didn't get it off in time. A delay happens, and then he's like, I was going to fake it already, and now it's 4th and 6. I guess I still got to fake it. And I rewound it, and you can see his indecision. He's late getting the call in, and then he even mouths something to Amendola like, we're still doing it, like we're still kicking it, but he goes out there and it's a fake. But that's totally on him inside his own mind for 10 seconds and not getting that play call in because that cost him the delay.
When you were on the 40, you guys had the best fake field goal ever. Just snap to Botrahan. Just tell him to get north and just get what you can and convert. And
if you got that guy, Botrahan thought he was
like Muschamp had his behind the head throw against Alabama. That was a good one. That it worked, and then he got called back for a holding. That was an awesome.
Yeah, that was actually a really
that was
good
old
one.
LSU.
But no, if you got Sam Ehlinger, you got Bam Bam Sam. If you're gonna do that, just run Sam, man. Just run. And you said, if your O line is playing like one of the exactly playing like one of the best O lines in the country, just get behind that left side and run.
The fourth down stuff goes back to Tom Herman's first year, and I said this then, I believed it then, and I still believe it now. And Matt, you pointed me in this direction many years ago. All the analytics, all the numbers tell you it's better to go for it.
Yeah, you go for it.
I don't have a problem with the decision, but man, you've got to have some. Like everybody has like 2-point plays and plays. Mm-hmm. Like you said, Rod, you should have stuff that this is
play design.
Fourth and 6 or less. This is what we're going with.
What was it? 4th and 1? Was it 4th and 1?
4th and 3.
4th and 3.
But still, you have the best tool in the history of college football outside maybe Tebow for that.
I was gonna say, 4th and 3, you gotta have something. So I understand why you can't just do a straight up power play because it's 4th and 3. It's a little longer. But yeah, I mean, I'm surprised about the play design. Well, at least he admitted it too. By the way, Tom Herman said that was a bad play design
up on the front.
Yeah. So good for him.
So hopefully, again, the decision process for Tom Herman is not going to change.
No,
and people just need to wrap their heads around that. Like he's not just like, you know what,
and he's
we're going to run out
making
and
the
kick a field
decision.
goal.
It's like it's just the play call, the actual design of the play that is the problem.
Yes,
and the execution of it.
And just to be clear, he will continue to go for it every time for the rest. There's no indecision.
I will still support it. By the way,
yes, I agree.
Call. One thing I will say though, Malcolm Epps I'm going to need Malcolm Epps to start playing like he's 6'8".
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
He plays like he's 6'4". You know what I mean? He plays like, considering
He
how
plays like
deep-
he's a tight end.
it's like, dude, you're 6'8".
He's
Dude, go
lumbering.
mash people. I want more offensive pass interference calls. I'd rather have offensive pass interference calls than what I saw from him. Like in some of those deep
Risk
balls, right?
reward is worth it. You only
Yeah,
lose
just
10.
go out
If
there and
not,
just
you might
mash
get a
that guy,
touchdown.
dude. Like, you're 6'8", man. Like, don't
While
let
we're
that,
on that
don't get
point-
bodied by anybody.
And while
I
we're
think
on
he'll
that
learn
point, our DB should play that way because in college football, it's totally fine. Like, it's worth not giving up a deep touchdown, pass interfere. If we got deficient
I agree with that.
DBs in there now
Yeah.
and guys that aren't good, don't be afraid to get those calls on you.
I agree with that.
You got to go the route Oklahoma did in the Big 12 championship game, which some of those guys in their post game said.
Yep.
I think might have been Trey Brown. I don't remember if it was Trey Brown or not, but I asked one of the DBs about it. They said we felt like that was our only chance was to take Humphrey and Johnson, be physical with them, and pull and grab and hope you don't get called for PI.
No, the Seattle Seahawks actually. No, it's actually this has been a process that's been thought out before. The Seattle Seahawks famously used to say they're not going to call PI on every play. They just won't.
No.
They won't. They won't. They're not going to do it. Yeah. If there are 8 straight passing plays and I PI on 8 straight passing plays, they may call me on 2. They won't call all 8.
And the great thing about college, you don't even get the spot foul. So it's even more incentivized to do it in college.
Not saying they do it, but they're saying that once a ref calls a PI, he's unlikely to call it another PI right after
You're
that.
studying human nature.
He's going to let it go for a while and then call another one in the next quarter. He's not going to call 7 straight PIs. So I always say once they used to get a PI, then they would maul guys even more.
Unless it's holding on a run play, they'll call those all the time.
They call those. Actually, they stopped. Nobody stopped
after Brady.
After Brady called him out. This week it dropped back down to average levels.
Just
of holding
on Sunday.
Calls. Yeah,
not on Thursday.
Because Tom Brady called him out. Don't mess with the
GOAT. Looking at the Texas offense, though, Rob, we talked about Malcolm Epps. We talked about the 4th down call that just probably, if you're Tom Herman, you got to have something else in that situation. But overall, again, it's hard for me to find fault with the offense because of how good the offensive line played. It allowed just kind of everything else to settle in around it. And I think you got to start with Sam Ehlinger. Just the
mastery,
consistency. Yeah. I mean, like you said, Rob, this is his offense.
Amazing.
He's got total control of it.
He so rarely makes a bad decision. I guess he threw a pick.
Even the interception, like
you're right. It was a tip. I guess that's on him. He threw it into a tight window.
It was a tight window. It was a good play in a tight window, but it also wasn't a bad throw or bad decision.
Right.
It just wasn't perfectly executed.
It's not one where you're saying, what
daring,
the heck
though.
are you looking at?
It was what a confident quarterback tries to squeeze that in, and he had to pay for the consequences for the risk.
The one interception, but 20 for 28, 281, 4 touchdowns, 10 carries, 70 yards. Like, you can't. And it just seemed like, oh, okay.
I know. I feel bad because I don't think we're giving him enough props. No. I feel like when VY and Colt were doing this, it was way more, there was way more hoopla. There was way more celebration. We gave him more props. I feel like we're underselling him a little bit.
Some of that's revisionist history, though, because especially Colt, I think, like Colt 09, like, it was really under the microscope. I don't know that anybody really.
Colt came out of nowhere. I remember when 08 Colt did. Remember his completion percentage?
Oh, he was getting more accolades. Dude, he should have won the Heisman.
That's my first year on radio, so I remember talking about it literally like, this dude is going to win the Heisman. It's the best. I remember at the time, he might be better than Vince Young. Like, he's that good.
But I think
09 only happened because of
expectations. I think 09 it got to the point where it was
now
really
we took it for granted.
Scrutinized.
But man, I think we take Sam for granted. Maybe because the last year was so great too. Maybe because last year, you say right after the Maryland game, he starts this streak. So maybe we've already kind of gotten our Sam love out there.
No, but I think the thing Sam benefits from too is that position's been so just bad here for so long that it's kind of like, think about Eddie Murphy when he was talking about sex and crackers and he used the cracker analogy. Like, no, the cracker wasn't that great. Like, you're starving that long. Like, of course the cracker's going to taste great. Like, yes, like you finally have a good quarterback. Like, yes, celebrate it. You haven't had one in the last decade. Now you got one. But that said, I do think there needs to be an appreciation for the way Sam Ehlinger's playing that position. Not just the numbers, but Rod.
Everything about it.
Yeah, just the complete master of this offense. And you go back to Matt's point, you look at those 2 red zone touchdowns. The throw to Duvernay, like that's
NFL throw.
It's an NFL
throw. Yep.
And
that's all it needs to be said. It was an NFL catch too. He got both.
Nearly indefensible.
And as good as that one was, I actually like the Jake Smith touchdown more because you see him look off the safety and boom, go backside. That's a hell of a route by Jake Smith.
It was. Nice stem on it, yeah. Very mature route for a young
And I like
receiver.
how it's sort of like if you follow the Rams, how Malcolm Brown relieves Gurley once every 3 drives. It's like Jake Smith gets his once every 3 drives whenever Duvernay gets to get a rest. Duvernay go, and he'll go out there. But like that position is all the usage for the Texas offense funnels through that position. And even when it's enough to keep them both fresh, and then you still have that cat in the bag that, well, if you ever do want to go 4 wide and go empty and have 2 slot guys because Duvernay can basically move around, that's a great chess piece to be able to have.
It's crazy that we're seeing like how everybody's starting to really see kind of the stuff we've talked about on this show for 2 years now, like how these positions are supposed to function. Like the age is going to gobble up the vast majority of the touches in this offense.
Yeah.
And you're seeing that now with Jake Smith and Devin Duvernay. Like the Z receiver, you might get 1 or 2 targets a game, so make them count. And Brendan Eagles is making them count.
Yeah. Like 27 yards a catch, I think he's averaging.
Something stupid.
Yeah, something freaky like that. No, it is. And then, of course, like Colin Johnson mode and the Malcolm Epps guy, they're basically the same. They're playing the same role
Your
within
X
the
should be like either that those security blanket throws into the boundary or, hey, we need you to go win downfield.
Their version of a possession wide receiver. Yeah. But no, the reason is because Sam as a director of the offense, basically, he kind of magically is able to use everyone in their role and maximize it. And like I said, I haven't seen him make many bad decisions this year, man. It's amazing.
And that's underrated, too, because Devin Duvernay, Keontae Ingram, Sam Cosmi, all 3 of them talked after the game like how good Sam Ehlinger is right now at getting them into the right play, whether it's a package situation or an actual he gets a kill call and has to do something else. Like, he's making the right decisions.
You got the checks and balances now. Tom Herman can call a play, but if Sam just like let's take the 29-yard run, which I think might be the longest run we've seen from Sam to seal the game. The waggle, the bootleg, all right, off of that wide zone they kept running. Well, Sam has the option to throw it or to run it. Cade, I think he was probably looking at Cade Brewer. I believe Duvernay may have been streaking a little bit, like going a crossing route deep there. Yeah. But once he sees that, these guys may be covered up, but he also sees that the guy covering Cade Brewer has his back turned. He's like, oh, well, hell, that's the nearest defender. This guy's back turned. I'm going to run for this. Easy. Yeah. And you can see that decision-making. I think it takes him probably less than a second and a half to like, oh, I'm definitely not throwing this. I'm running this.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's so comfortable making it. And I like that Tom Herman's like, no. I'm putting the game in that guy's hands, and I'm going to give him the choice. And I know he'll make the right choice. Yeah. Maybe a year ago, I don't know if yes, he does. 2 years ago, I don't know if he makes that choice. A year ago, he definitely does.
Yeah.
He's just that good.
It's like you said, in that situation, putting the ball in your best player's hands, what I liked about that call was it's a kind of an obvious call. Like you think, okay, if you're Jim Knowles and Mike Gundy, you're thinking, okay, they're going to put the ball in Ehlinger's hands and probably get him on a perimeter and
give him a choice.
Yeah. And it's obvious, but sometimes in football, that's why I love the saying I was told many years ago, football is a simple game made complicated by simple men.
Great quote.
And sometimes the easiest, most obvious call is the right call.
It is the right. Yeah, and the thing about it is, and I got to go back and track, and I'm going to go back and track the quarterback designed runs, because I think it was like 4 or 5 maybe.
Yeah, wasn't that many of them.
Wasn't that many of them, right? So we know now that they are intentionally not running Sam. They're saving him for when they need him.
Yeah.
When they absolutely have to. And honestly, with him playing like this as a pocket passing quarterback and O-line playing so well, you really, you don't have to do that. You actually can save him for when, against Oklahoma, he can run it 15, 20 times. Because even when they're running the zone read now, it's weird to watch Sam basically kind of run the zone read the way Phillip Rivers would run it. You know what I mean? Like he's not. You know what I mean? Like he's not gonna run it. Like he's basically gonna hand it off almost every time. Yeah, it's not the D.Y. It's almost like you ever seen the NFL like Tom Brady runs the zone
read.
It's like,
Smart.
Well, Brady's not gonna run it,
but that's
why still run the zone read. That's weird.
That's why you do it, because it's odd, but just that little action occupies the defenses. But it's just so crazy
to make
that
the defense watch
Tom
it.
Brady's not gonna run it, but they still have to respect the ball out and your tendencies, and it's just good coaching.
That's how Sam runs it now. It's like, well, Sam's not running it. It's pretty obvious. He could have run it a ton, but they're telling him, and I think they're telling him, hey, man, we don't need you to run it. Like, when we want you to run it, we'll let you know. Which, you know what? I'm cool with, because if he seems fresher. He just seems like he's fresher. He's not taking as many hits. He's being very judicious about the punch he takes. When he goes down now, he's trying to slide or kind of land on his butt in weird places. Like, I like it because I think, early on, we just want to make sure that he can last the entire season, and we know sooner or later he's going to start taking punishment. But right now, O-line's keeping him clean, and he is protecting himself.
And that self-perseverance is so big because even last year at this time, he was already dinged up. And then you had the Baylor game happen, and then against Okie State, you end up having him go up there and having to play with the lesser version. So just you see that he understands where it is, and it's almost as if we can still win without maximizing him, and it gives you that second level, and it gives you that chance that you go, like when we're talking about his numbers and not the respect that he maybe would get in context, because like you look at VY back in the day, like you had a couple people putting up big numbers. Right now it's the offensive proliferation, and then you're in the Big 12, so he doesn't get the respect. And then now we're seeing maybe 75% of his skill set only because Texas as a team has heightened itself, that he maybe doesn't need to put up the numbers, but it's almost better to entice the people to not respect him as much, because now Texas fans that know it see that there is something else that can be tapped into, and it's just, well, whenever you get to that, hopefully it ends up paying off.
Yeah. And Rod, we don't even know what this offense looks like with the full complement, because as Colin Johnson's been out, that's when we've really seen the emergence of Devin Duvernay, how they've been able to incorporate Jake Smith. Yeah. We've still got the tight end thing, which we talked about last week. At some point, do you have to make a decision on what personnel group?
And now you don't have to.
Right.
The offense is clicking.
Yeah. But once Colin Johnson gets back healthy, hell, that adds the dimension that we all going into the year figure, well, that's the one thing you can count on.
Yeah, Devin Duvernay is that guy now. And you know what? I would go even further, and I agree with Matt. It's the H position overall, because we saw Lil Jordan Humphrey do it last year. And honestly,
the top end will be there with Colin, but Duvernay's production's not going to go away.
And the thing about Duvernay that makes him so interesting is that basically he is, and I talked to Jeff about this on the show, he's basically a third running back now.
Yeah.
And I went back and tracked his targets. All right, so he's got 44 targets that I counted. Right, he's got I think 39 receptions, so an 88.6 catch rate. But 40% of his targets are behind the line of scrimmage. Mm-hmm. That's basically a run play. That basically just
that entire
long
first drive
handoffs.
to open the year was negative 15 air yards, and you had 5 receptions for like 70 yards for him.
Another 27% are within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. So basically, 67% of all of his targets are within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage.
Yep. And I even asked him in postgame about, did you guys going into the year? I mean, could you imagine the bubble screen would be your best short yardage play?
Definitely is.
Because right now, it probably is.
I agree with that 100%. It's him. I'll make sure I get it right. He got 13 forced missed tackles. He's on pace for 39 forced missed tackles. Lil Jordan Humphrey had 26 last year. Yeah. Like, Rondale Moore, who the Purdue young man who's fantastic, everybody loves him, he had 39 forced missed tackles last year. So that's what kind of presence he's like, right now with the Texas short passing game. Deebo Samuel had 21 forced missed tackles. I'm telling you, he's basically on pace, and he's a freak unlike anything you've ever seen.
Del Pitt's tackles.
Yeah, he's a little, I call him a little shop of horrors, like nightmare matchup.
Yep.
He's got 261 yards after the catch. He's on pace for 783 yards after the catch. That was third among Power 5 wide receivers last year. And he's got 131 yards after the catch, on pace for 393 yards after the catch. Tony Pollard for the Cowboys had 272 yards after contact, which is different than yards after the catch. After contact, on pace for 393. Like I said, Tony Pollard had 272 last year. Josh Jacobs of Bama had 493 yards after contact.
He's
basically got running back numbers for yards after contact and forced missed tackles, but he's got the speed of a wide receiver that can go deep, squat 600 pounds. I don't think I can give you an NFL comp to Devin Duvernay off the top of my head.
Christian Kirk, but Duvernay has a stronger lower body. Like it's
weird, though.
The way that Kingsbury's using Christian Kirk's the exact same way. If you watch Arizona, and it's the bubble screens and then even similar body type. But
he puts Fitzgerald in the slot too. The two slot wide receivers are Fitzgerald and Kirk,
and that's why I want Jake Smith and Duvernay. because if you were to create another position, Duvernay has been so malleable that he's played every role in this offense somewhere.
On both sides of the field.
You can keep Jake Smith in his unique role, which he's only learning and growing upon. And Duvernay, like if you want to compare it back to Shipley's record-breaking year through 4 games, Shipley, which was insane at the time, 36 receptions for 436, 2 TDs. Duvernay's at 39 for 377 and 4 TDs. And then if you look at just like, say, he leads the nation in third down conversion reception. He's had a reception that's converted on third down 10 times. He's caught the ball 14 times on third down. But
10
then,
of them for first downs.
Yeah, 10 of them. Yeah. That conversion rate is insane.
20, I think I want to say 55% of the time they target Devin Duvernay. It results in a first down or a touchdown. And then just targeting.
Think about the top end of our offense when Colin Johnson's healthy, only to occupy more of the mind of the defense. And Duvernay then, I mean, you look at his broken tackles like you brought up, it's just a perfect piece. And then why wouldn't you, like you said, he's like a running back, and running back, those yards after contact's very hard because you're stuck around linebackers and people, against D linemen, big guys. He's out there against DBs, and then if they miss those tackles, he can bust it to the house. So that's why you can really eat up those yards after contact.
Awesome.
In the Oak State game, Texas had 9 third down conversions. I think 4 of them were pass completions to Duvernay.
Boom.
That's crazy. Yeah, it is. It's pretty freaking remarkable.
But that's the kind of stuff we were seeing from Colin Johnson and Lil Jordan Humphrey last year, Rod. And I think the staff deserves a lot of credit. Like you said, yes, you give Duvernay credit, but it's that H position because you look at last year,
LJ,
they did a really good job of taking Lil Jordan Humphrey and saying, okay, everybody talks about what he can't do, but what can he do?
Great point.
Okay, well, he's a former running back, so he knows how to work through traffic and get through the wash, plays to and through contact, and he's got good high-point ball skills. He can go get it down the field. So
attacks the football.
Why are we going to throw him anything other than the occasional screen or something down the field 20 yards or more?
And they did.
That's pretty much what his game was. Duvernay, like you said, 600-pound squat guy, what's he really good at? Is he Percy Harvin? No.
Nope.
Does he have that kind of lateral ability? No. But what's he good at? When he can get the ball in his hand, stick a foot in the ground and get vertical, he can run through arm tackles. And then if he gets past that initial tackle and somebody tries to get an angle on him, now you got to talk about that 10-3 speed.
And talking about balls in his hands, he doesn't drop passes at all.
If you're on a field with a bunch of DBs from LSU and you're the fastest guy on the field, you can run a little bit, which he was. And so it's just the way they've used that guy. They're 2 very different players, but they're getting tremendous production from both of them.
And even Jake Smith is very different than Duvernay, at least the way they use him. Jake Smith, I want to say, has, out of his targets, he has
vertical.
5 targets that are 20 yards or more downfield. 3 of them have been touchdowns.
He also can succeed, though, in the screen game because because the first one's a touchdown, the 17-yarder, that drive, but then the second half drive with Jake Smith it's a third and 5 or 6, and they throw the screen. He gets to the outside, converts. It's to where they at least are confident in him to do everything within that role. It's just his skill set more vertical than it was Duvernay, who's compact and better for the screen game.
I didn't think I would see 2 receivers at Texas who could understood and could run the bubble screen as well as Jordan Shipley and Quan Cosby. Lil Jordan Humphrey was great last year. I think of those 4 guys, Devin Duvernay might be the best guy we've seen do it.
Yeah. No, they're pretty, No, I agree with that. He's pretty good at it. It's
really good.
I'm with Matt. I can't wait. And you brought up Colin Johnson. I can't wait till Colin Johnson comes back because, truth is, when Colin Johnson's going to leave, he's a senior. Devin Duvernay's a senior. I do think this year you have a unique blend of wide-out threats. Yep. I don't think you'll have this next year. Next year it'll be a different, it'll materialize differently.
Yeah. Sort of like 08 with Quan and Shipley.
Like it's freaky this year, but you have like 4 guys that you can't really cover one-on-one. You got Colin Johnson. You got, Devin Duvernay. There is Jake Smith. There is Brennan Eagles. And it's like, well, just pick one of those guys to cover one-on-one, which is why I still think we'll see that 10 personnel package at one point. It just makes so much sense to me. And now we've talked about Duvernay and Jake Smith basically being running backs when you use them with the RPO game, and you can run the bubble screens with them really out in the flat behind the line of scrimmage. So to me, the numbers advance that Tom Herman always champions with the 11 personnel, you basically just you displace it from the inside to the outside.
Yep.
I just had a
more skilled guy.
Yeah, exactly.
I just had a little light bulb go off. Think about this, and this is something that probably won't happen. I'm pretty sure it won't happen this year. You never say never. But this is something maybe think about for the spring. Bijan Robinson's coming in.
That's right.
And you talk about a guy as a high school senior, Rod. I've never heard of this. I've heard of some robust yards per carry numbers. He's averaging 23 yards a carry.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's freaky.
A carry. Like, that's not me like, oh, no, you're wrong, Jeff. No, it's like 22.9 a carry.
Yeah, that's freaky. I don't know. I've never heard of that before either.
So, Keontae Ingram's back next year.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan
Whittington?
Well, just stay with me here. Roshan Johnson, that move might be permanent because I just think he's that good at running back. Bijan Robinson coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Darian Brown getting healthy.
I forgot about Darian
And
Brown.
if Danny Young stays. With Colin Johnson and Devin Duvernay leaving, now do you look at Jordan Whittington and say, you know what? He's more valuable to us at H receiver now than he is a running back.
I can see that. Yeah. I totally agree with that. I think ideally in the future, Tom Herman basically wants his H and running backs almost to be interchangeable, depending on the personnel package, depending on what he's doing. I think ideally at one point he wants those guys to be Alvin Kamara.
Well,
Christian McCaffrey, I would like them in the backfield, motioning to the slide, coming from the slide back into the backfield. Ideally, that's what he wants. He's too young in the implementation of the offense.
We've heard that that's what that H position is, and we've seen it in places Tom Herman's been.
Ohio State.
But I think now that we're seeing it at Texas and seeing the guys on the roster and the guys that are coming in, you say, yeah, I mean, Bijan Robinson could go be an H receiver.
It's going to be almost coveted in terms of recruiting. If you're a player, you want to play that position.
Feature role of a passing game.
Like you like, hey man, I want to play that H position. And y'all gonna play? I almost want how it's going to play out in
recruiting. It's
recruiting.
funny. It used to be Roy Williams. Now you want the little.
I want to play H. I'm playing H now. I want to play I want to play H because that H is going to make you all your money. That's just going to get you all your accolades and your stats.
And not get your head wrong.
It's
kind of like defensively when Muschamp was at Texas. Everybody wanted who's going to
play
put that Buck linebacker?
Who's going to play Buck? Yeah, exactly right. No, I'm with you. That's why I want to know that now. That's interesting though. It's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the one receiver that doesn't get a lot of touches in this offense is the field side receiver. But like Brendan Eagles, he's got like 9 catches and 5 of them are touchdowns.
Yeah, I think he's cool with it right now. Like,
yeah. He's running into the end zone, throwing the horns up.
But that's also a testament to Sam's deep ball passing ability because it wouldn't mean as much if Sam's not putting the ball on the money for those very few occasions where he's got that one-on-one zero coverage over there and he beats that corner. So it's like I think it's Sam too, also clean pocket Sam, but Sam's putting the ball on the money, man, on some of those deep balls.
Oh, that ball was so perfect.
It
the
was
Eagles,
perfect.
And the thing was Eagles, it was like he was so open, the ball was right there, he almost dropped it. Like he
that
went
happens,
in,
man.
it's just like and you thank God he caught it into his stomach and went.
Eagles 10 for 276 and 4 touchdowns.
You know what I mean? Like it's like you got to be perfect when Sam throws those up there, and basically Sam has been perfect.
It's almost like I remember again, and I talk about my football days. I only played in high school, but with the fullback. I had a coach that loved giving a full ball to a fullback, like in short yardage situations.
I saw somebody do. Man, the Chargers did it.
Well, because it was one of those deals where it's like, hey, you got to every now and then you got to feed your dogs, man. He's working his tail off. Every now and then you got to feed your dog a little bit. Brendan Eagles, it's like that dog you got to feed. Like one of the reasons that bubble screen works so well is because of his perimeter blocking. Like that field side receiver's got to be a really good perimeter blocker. So it's like, look, man. We're going to feed you. We're going to target you like once a game, but that's going to be a deep shot, and you better make it count.
No, he's one of the – okay, go get back to your analogy about the dog. He's the dog that always gets scraps from the table, though. He doesn't get fed but once a day, but he always gets the scraps from the dinner table.
He gets chew on the T-bone.
He gets the big bone. He gets the meatloaf, the leftover meatloaf. He gets the good stuff, leftover taco meat.
There you go.
That dog, so he gets the good stuff from the dog. How you doing that?
Is that like my old lab when I'm at the dinner table last night eating a piece of pizza and she's like drooling on my leg? Like, hey, I know you're
just enough to get you coming back.
Exactly. You're like, I know I ain't getting much, but
all right, now go block the rest of the game.
Yeah. You might get 1 or 2 targets, but
you're right,
man,
though.
He's making them count, though.
He's making them count, dog. No doubt.
You're averaging 28 yards a catch.
You got 4 touchdowns. I know. I would say that's really.
A game.
I would give Tom Herman his offense credit too, Tim Beck and all of them, and Sam as well. They are doing a really good job, and I know the H gobbles up a lot of the production. But if Colin Johnson wasn't hurt, something tells me a little bit of that would probably go to Colin Johnson.
Yeah.
They're dividing it up pretty nicely. Even with Keontae Ingram and Rashawn Johnson, like it's divided up pretty nice. I would say the tight end position probably isn't getting as much love, but they had the flea flicker with the touchdown this past week.
Yeah, fed him too, gave him his bone.
So they make sure as a defensive mind, you better come in. You got a game plan. You cannot just kind of leave somebody out of the game plan and go, oh, that guy ain't going to do nothing. He's not going to hurt us. Well, Brendan Eagles, those 3 or 4 times he's get it. He made the most devastating one of them all.
And both of them are
Yeah.
touchdowns on the backside of the offense.
Yeah.
Know? Like
You know
that's
what I
where
mean?
you're left.
So, yeah, I like that part of it, too. Like, you got to focus on Duvernay, but, hey, man, you can lose track of guys, and they can beat you here on this
You
offense,
like that
too.
feed your dog analogy?
I love that feature dog analogy.
Yeah,
Damn
so in
good.
our offense, we ran a wing T. So basically, the fullback was like an I back. It was like the Nebraska stuff. Like, it was basically I back. So the tailback was technically like the fullback. And they'd be like, tailback dive. Like, why are we running a tailback dive? It's like, hey, you got to feed your dogs.
Tailback
Got to
dive.
take care of that tailback.
The other night there was
All
some
right. Running
It
right
was
into a brick wall most
Air
of the
Force
time.
football.
Well, usually
was on.
tailback dive goes right behind me. So, yeah, there ain't that much surge going that way. It's usually a stalemate.
I was literally watching Air Force for like one play, and it looked like I was watching like 40s football. Like there was a skinny wide receiver, his legs were gangly, and he was getting the option pitch and running gung ho into the line.
Like
it was
Bucky
great.
Godbolt back in the
day. He was the linebacker or
Those
the.
got offense they used to throw with Bucky out there.
Playing
Yep.
Bucky lining up at wide receiver in a 3-point stand.
Yes.
And then come end around.
Oh man, I love it.
Didn't making fun of Bucky's 3-point stands, right? Isn't that how you guys got in a back and forth rant where
That is how Bucky and I got into
you threatened
it.
to call him an Uncle Tom when
I
you
did.
owned him on
I
the field?
threatened to the throat chopping old man,
And he
which
wouldn't
I
help
am.
him up.
I am still jealous. I'm ashamed of that. That's not cool.
Yeah,
Did that make it
not
over?
cool.
That make it over from the old system, Matt?
No, I have that at the house.
That was
somewhere.
shameful.
We relived that in podcast glory, so it's
Threaten to-
always
yeah.
in former
Don't
Longhorn
thretten
Blitz.
senior citizens, people.
If
Don't threaten old
you
people.
decided
Respect
to
your
stick that
elders.
in at the end of this show, I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be opposed to it. It's a bye week. Like people need to get fired up. Let Rod hear about delivering the
Windpipe chop. Yeah,
chop.
the windpipe chop, which actually was a move
Coach
taught to
Keith.
me. But actually, yeah, you shouldn't do windpipe chops. You can really hurt somebody. Yeah.
Yes.
I believe your explanation of it, Rod, was damn near collapse your windpipe.
Damn near.
Well, I'm not trying to kill you. I'm just trying to get you to,
Yeah,
to
shock.
not run the route.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get a good bump.
It's a good jam.
It's a good jam.
You just got to get in
Hey,
there with that
I
windpipe.
actually
chop.
don't think it's illegal. Like
No,
I don't think it's
isn't.
illegal.
Because it's not hands to the face.
Yeah, it's a
It's
windpipe.
literally what's allowed below hands to
I know,
the
but
face.
that's back when I was not that kind of player most
You
of my
were
career. but
scrapping trying to stay
in an
alive.
Oklahoma game or two, I might have windpipe chopped an Oklahoma receiver. It's very possible.
Go watch
So-
a replay and you see
Is
one
he right?
OU guy on the ground like, for air.
So, Curtis Fagan, Brandon Jones, if one of you guys happens to be listening to this, Rod apologizes for 2001 or 2 where you might have got a hand to the throat.
Hey, Tarlando might need to teach the windpipe chop coming
Yeah.
up this game. You might need it.
Bring
You
that
got
full
all-
circle.
whole
Hey,
bag of tricks.
before we get out of here, I do want you to talk about that, though. Jalen Greer with the dislocated shoulder. I know you talked about your shoulder issues throughout the years.
Yeah, just real quick. I mean, I've had obviously 3 dislocated shoulders. There are degrees of it, of a dislocated shoulder. His right now is probably one of the worst, so that's why they're going to give it time to heal. It will not heal completely. He'll probably have to have surgery once the season's done. That will be recommended to tighten it up so it heals completely. But if you give it 2 weeks, it'll get stable enough where right now he probably can't even do bump and run coverage without it slipping out of socket. Hell, mine would slip out while I was sleeping. Like it would be that, you know what I mean, sensitive. And so you want to get to what with stable, you get to 2 or 3 weeks and it starts to stabilize a little bit. Then they'll put a brace on, a harness on it, and you get to the point where you can actually do some football stuff, maybe tackling, maybe playing bump and run with it. But it's going to be pain tolerance once it gets stable because it will not heal for the rest of the season. That's just a shoulder.
Quentin Jammer had the same thing, too, right?
Matter of fact, yeah, remember he had to have his worked on because it kept slipping. It would just slip out. He would hit somebody and knock it out of socket every time. I'm like, dude, you got to quit hitting people like that. Like your shoulder is out, like it's dislocated. He didn't care.
Can I tell you?
My name's Jammer.
Can I tell you?
My name is Jammer.
Can I tell you a quick
I
story?
am Jammer.
This is a true story.
And Jim.
I went to Max camp when I was going into my sophomore year. And we're doing O-line, D-line, one-on-one drills, and I got tangled up with somebody and fell on my shoulder, and it popped out.
Oh, yeah.
And it was really weird, Rod, you know kind of when it pops out and you're kind of – it goes back in and you kind of roll over, and it's like –
Oh, no, I can feel it even
it's
now.
almost like that blackout feeling. Well, imagine it coming to and rolling over and looking up at Mac Brown standing over. He's like, son, you okay? And that's what happened to me. So the next day, I got to go get x-ray and all that stuff. So the next day, Mac's trying to make me feel better about it. He's like, don't worry. He's like, Quentin Jammer, same thing happens to him all the time.
There you go.
And I think that 99 season, I think that was the year Jam had to have surgery early in the season because
he
the
did.
shoulder thing kept popping
it came out. It came literally.
I remember my
kept
sentiment
popping
at the time was like, that's cool, Mac, but Quentin Jammer and I have nothing in common other than apparently a bad shoulder.
He's repairing here so he can go make millions in the NFL. Jeff's just repairing his so he can do chores around the house.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
So I can go back to my high school team
Jeff.
and kind of get thrown to the wolves as a sophomore.
Hey
not
man,
ready
that's
to
what I'm
play
saying.
varsity.
Those shoulder injuries, they hurt like hell though. So like they hurt like hell, man. Imagine
Yeah.
when
I didn't have near as bad as you did, Rob. But it's not the weather impacts me, but if I sleep on it wrong, it's like feels like it's just.
Oh yeah, I can't even throw a football these days. I gotta throw like Rich Gannon, side on,
Man, I threw
no rotator cuff.
I threw a tennis ball for my dog this summer and like went too far over the top.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ooh, did it slip out?
No, it
Yeah.
just.
It like
I need to go sit down on the couch for a minute and kinda gather myself a little.
That's called
bit.
being old. That's all that is. Yeah, nah, I've done that before.
All right. Well, we've got time to heal up. Texas has time to heal up because Longhorns are on a bye week, so no picks, no predictions this week. Although you guys will watch some college football. Anything you guys? I know Tech and Oklahoma's this week. West Virginia's off this week, so
Yeah.
you don't even get to watch the
I
next
probably watched some
opponent.
Oklahoma. I haven't watched much of them.
Oak State, K-State's this weekend. That might be one to take a look
K-State's
at.
playing better football than people think. I'm gonna watch K-State because I gotta
Yeah.
figure out what's happening because they're playing good football, right?
Yeah, Skylar Thompson. They've got offensively. They got to figure
they got
out. If you don't watch K-State, Rod, watch their offensive line. Their offensive line's really good.
Yeah, I'm
I
gonna watch
watched them
K-State.
play
Actually.
Mississippi State that opening week.
Yeah, the Big 12 is better than we thought. I think we can all say that confidently. Like we thought it would. It's going to be more competitive at the bottom of it than we thought.
You know
Agreed.
what?
Is
Another,
that-
and actually the other interesting game too. Baylor Iowa State's this weekend.
Yeah, and Baylor's playing good football. Well, they're not playing anybody, but
Baylor to me is kind of where Texas was last year. Like they got up 21-3 on Rice and then just took their foot off the gas and then realized, oh man, Rice, it's an 8-point game and they got the ball.
Rice is not going to lay down. Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel
So
you on that.
and Iowa State, we've seen they probably should have beat Iowa, and then man, did they take out their frustration?
They miss
last week.
Akeem, but I watched them. They miss Butler and they miss David Montgomery. They miss those are transcendent players for Iowa State. They don't
Yeah.
replace guys like that. You know
That's what we talked about. And that's why I didn't understand
Yeah.
all the love for Iowa State. Like Matt Campbell's a good coach. I think he's good, but
He's not a miracle worker.
look at Texas, you can replace guys like that. At Oklahoma, you can replace guys like that. At Iowa State, it ain't
It's like
just
once every 5 years. Those guys are
yeah.
gone.
You're talking
Yeah.
about two generational guys
Yeah.
that just happen to be in your program
At the same time.
And while
With
I'm watching
Purdy,
the
yeah.
NFL, like you're seeing David Montgomery,
killing it.
A.J. Klein, the linebacker
Oh, yeah.
that was there. He was, I think, on the Saints, and then it was also, I think, Lazard made a roster. So there's
Yeah,
a handful.
Butler got hurt. If not, he'd probably be playing with Arizona right now too. But
Hey, real quick, speaking of NFL roster, we praise Charles Omenihu.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Lil Jordan Humphrey, getting
That's right, got
signed
called
off the
up.
practice squad.
Well, he
Yep.
was active. Yeah, he
Active,
was
active,
last
and
game.
played.
Yeah.
And played for the Saints.
I'm not
and
surprised
everything
by
over
that. I think
the
we
season.
all said he's gonna make a roster, and at one point he's gonna get to play.
They
'cause he's a
need all the
baller.
tools they need there and
Yeah.
short passing
Well,
game.
and the
he
big
fits
slot
perfect.
that people are falling in love with now, he's perfect for.
Well, and,
And
he's
if
perfect
there's a-
for Bridgewater, guy that can't stretch the field.
Amen.
If there's
Good
one,
Lord.
if there's one coach in the NFL that I trust to take kind of one of those misfit toys and figure out, okay, what can this guy do for
I
me,
agree.
and how can I maximize it?
Exactly.
It's probably Sean Payton.
no doubt.
And then before we wrap up the college stuff, since it's worth mentioning, if y'all didn't pay attention to the game last week, the UCLA Washington State. Did y'all see this?
That's crazy, man.
It was the most absurd thing
That's
ever. I
absurd.
woke up and could not believe in regulation 67-63, but with 3 minutes and 28 seconds left in the third quarter, we're talking a quarter and 3 minutes, UCLA scores 50 points.
Yeah, that's freaky.
50 points. They were down 49-17.
Yeah.
With 3:28 left in the third.
Maybe things
and
are
then they
starting to-
outscore them 50-14.
And you
after
outscored
that.
an air raid team too. That
Yes.
that scores. Like
Leach
that's
versus Kelly, it just hyper football. It
Yeah.
was like you were watching a Madden game had came to real life. All the things that kids did growing up that you would say, well, that can't happen in real football. It happened in real
Chip
football.
Kelly versus Mike Leach.
Chip
And then-
Kelly's been holding back, Rod. That's what it was. He just
I
he didn't
hope
wanna-
so,
he didn't
damn
wanna
it.
break it out.
Yeah,
and-
maybe, man.
He knows how to
Excited.
coach
Well,
offense.
I'm saying, maybe the kids are just starting to get it. It is a system that you got to pick up, and didn't have recruits in that he liked and all that. So maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
I still think he's mailed it in and is just collecting
He probably
the
is.
check.
He'll probably end up being an OC
he
for
likes
somebody.
coaching offense, and if you're going to let him be a head coach, well, he's going to keep saying
His-
yes.
It's just everything that was progressive for him and that was pioneering for him.
His
Now
standard.
the world has caught up with. Yeah, like, exactly. Like it's just he doesnn't have that edge anymore.
While you're on that
Part,
point, that's
part of
exact-
me wants to say Chip Kelly's Charlie Weiss with a better track record.
I think he's a better football.
Way better.
Nah, I think
I
he's a
think
better
he's
football
way-
mind
yeah, yeah.
than Charlie Weiss. But I could be wrong.
And but yeah, if we're on that
career
same topic,
trajectory is.
if you look at the SEC and what's happening to them, sort of the way we were talking about with Chip Kelly, how everybody's caught up in doing those type of things.
Yeah.
SEC isn't doing it, and you're having a lot of Wyoming's beating Missouri's or Georgia State, who lost to Texas State but beat Tennessee, which is just crazy.
That's crazy.
You had San Jose State go in and win at Arkansas this past weekend. Then you had what we were talking about, K-State going in and beating Mississippi State, but Cal going in and beating Ole Miss. Like all of these, go across that whole conference, they've all had one of those really bad losses.
Did you mention San Jose State beating Arkansas?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm sorry, I was distracted. Like Trey Elling's in the other studio, and it's got like some breathing machine that was staring at me. So I kind of almost blacked out for a second. So I apologize. I didn't know you mentioned the Arkansas.
I've seen the machine. It is creepy.
Yeah. There was something else I was going to mention. Oh, Matt, real quick before we get out, too, on our way out, you mentioned Texas State beating Georgia State. Do you know who kicked the winning field goal for Texas State in that game?
I have no clue.
Oh.
Former Texas kicker Josh Rowland.
Yes.
Oh, yeah? Transfer down there. Way to go.
And we should shout out to Shane Bouchel, too. Because
There you go.
SMU beating TCU.
Going on the road beating TCU.
Shout out to Shane Bouchel.
By the way.
He plays Charlie, doesn't he, this week?
Yes.
That I will watch. That I have to watch.
It's like I watched Mac Brown versus Muschamp and Mac versus Manny, and then this is awesome. It's an alternate universe.
Revenge games. I'm definitely going to watch
Think
that.
about this.
That's going to be great.
If SMU goes down there and puts it on South Florida,
Who we rooting for?
Was Shane get Charlie fired?
is that the end for Charlie? Like if SMU goes and puts it on him?
Oh, you mean Shane Bouchel would put the nail in the coffin of Charlie Strong? Yeah. That would be awesome.
It's like Mac did to Manny 2 games in. He's 0-2.
Something strangely
That's true.
poetic.
But isn't Mac struggling now too, right?
Yeah,
Probably.
North Carolina just lost to
Probably.
By the way, I love
But
the
he still
SMU.
could've-
Love the SMU. They're rebranding themselves with Dallas uniforms.
Hey, you know the reason they're doing that, in my opinion, it's because of CDC. Because Chris Del Conte successfully branded TCU to be Fort Worth School, and that's their town or whatever. And
they're the Metroplexes team.
It basically, and the SMU was like, damn, well, what's our town then? They were like, well, you're not Dallas, that's the Cowboys. And it was like, well, yeah, we are. And now there's them competing.
They're Arlington.
They're trying,
Irving.
exactly,
Irving.
yeah. So that's because of CDC. I mean, that's how successful he was in making TCU Dallas's university.
I heard something brilliant from Sonny Dykes. He was doing an interview on the ticket in Dallas, and he said, look, if you're an Aggie fan or a Texas fan or Texas grad or Baylor grad and we're not your favorite team, that's fine. Let us be your second favorite team.
Yeah, he's cool with that, being the side piece. Hell yeah. I agree with that, yeah.
I was like, you think you're short selling your program, but no, that's actually for SMU. It's a brilliant. way to look
It
at
is a brilliant.
Say, hey, as long as you're coming out to watch, us, we
other
don't care.
time-
We don't care where your degree's from or who you root for.
And the only
I
other
totally
time
agree.
they were
'Cause that's
competing
Dallas. You
with,
just want Dallas people to come and watch.
and they had to cheat to compete with the A&M and that.
It's
Texas
SMU's
back in the
best
day.
start post death penalty.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Oh wow.
84 was the last time they were
Good
4-0.
for you,
Where
Shane
Texas
Buccelli.
quarterbacks transfer to. Gilbert went there. Gilbert might be the Browns quarterback at some point. It's crazy watching that.
Dude, crazier things happen. Kyle Allen starting games. I mean, there's some crazy things happening.
There
in the
are
league
23 quarterbacks from the Big 12 or the state of Texas in the NFL on 19 teams right now. It's crazy.
That's a
I
great
wrote them all
stat.
out.
23 on 19.
I'll give you the paper. It's
That's
insane.
Awesome. Great stat.
And Texas finally has one who you think can get there. After all this time. After
Yeah,
all
the
this
only one
time,
on
it's like,
Texas'
this
list
guy's
is
got
Colt.
a chance.
Colden Garrett's on the list.
All right. Matt, thanks for everything, man.
You're more than welcome.
Rod B, appreciate the time and the knowledge.
Anytime, brother. Anytime.
For Matt, for Rod, for Travis, the best damn videographer in the podcast game. For everybody at the Austin Radio Network and the Horn, 104.9, 101.9, AM 1260, streaming on the Horn app and at hornfm.com, where you can get Rod on the Rodcast each and every weekday from 1 to 3.
Shameless plug.
You can also get Longhorn Blitz on the Horns Tuesday nights at 7 o'clock. Don't forget to find this podcast anywhere you get your podcasts. Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher. Don't forget to like us and leave us a review. 5 stars would be preferable, but any kind of feedback you guys give is appreciated. And thanks to Matt, you can get our classic interviews and classic shows on the Longhorn Blitz SoundCloud page. For the Horn family, for the Horns 24/7 family, I am Jeff Howe. Thank you so much for downloading and listening, and we will catch you again on the next episode.
You've been listening to Longhorn Blitz with horns247.com. Remember, for the latest Longhorn news 24/7, visit horns247.com.